how is this government actually going to increase revenues? Because they don't seem to want to cut anything.
This is my point. I've heard a lot of conversation, well, the government has to figure out how to increase revenues. We've been setting records year after year for the last 3, 4 years of revenues coming to government. So the revenues actually haven't been the issue for the government. What has happened though is they've increased spending at a much faster rate than those revenues have increased. And in fact, they're not even staying within their spending allotment. I would hope that a government could actually stay to their expenditure plan for the year. And in fact, they overspend at the same time. And there's just some multiple fundamental problems that government is doing right now within the overall operation of the government that's created problems. And now we find out that when Premier Eby became Premier 2 years ago, BC had no operating deficit. In 2 years, this year's update was $24.5 billion on the operating side as a deficit. That's massive. Usually when you hear about debt and deficit, it's because they really ramped up infrastructure spending, things of that nature. And they always say, we're building for the future. Fair enough. But in this case, almost a quarter of that taxpayer-supported debt is operational debt. In other words, paying for the staff, paying for programming, not paying for infrastructure.